All right, so today we're diving into something that I think is super relevant to pretty much everyone listening, AI's impact on education and design. We've got some really fascinating insights from Adobe to unpack today, and they're really leaning into this idea of empowering future innovators.
Yeah, and you know what I find really interesting about their approach is how they're looking beyond just the technology itself. They're really emphasizing this balance between equipping students with these cutting-edge AI tools, but not losing sight of the human element in education.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, we're not trying to replace teachers with robots, which honestly is reassuring to hear.
Exactly. And their report on creating future innovators really digs into this. It's not about AI replacing human skills. It's about complementing and enhancing them.
Mm.
Things like fostering curiosity, critical thinking, collaboration, those uniquely human aspects that really drive innovation.
Yeah, and I bet that's something that a lot of educators are grappling with right now, right? How to integrate these tools without losing the heart of what makes teaching effective.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Adobe actually suggests involving college faculty directly in that integration process, making sure that these tools are actually working for them in the classroom, not just being imposed from outside.
Which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we're talking about empowering educators, but what about the tools themselves? I have to ask about Adobe Firefly because this whole generative AI thing has everyone buzzing, and Firefly seems to be right at the forefront.
It really is, and it's much more than just a single tool. Firefly has a whole suite of AI models, and they're being integrated into the Adobe products that you're probably already familiar with: Photoshop, Illustrator, Express, you name it.
Okay, so it's less about replacing the tools that designers use and more about supercharging them. What does that actually look like in practice? Can you give me some examples?
Sure. So imagine you're a video editor using Premiere Pro Firefly, can automate really tedious tasks, like generating accurate captions for your videos, something that used to eat up tons of time. Or if you're an Illustrator user picture, being able to trace your sketches with AI assistance so much faster and more precise.
Wow, that's wild.
It sounds like these features could really streamline a designer's workflow, free them up to focus on the more creative aspects of their work.
Exactly. And it goes even further.
Yeah.
Let's say you're working with color palettes. Firefly can instantly generate a whole spectrum of color variations from your artwork. We're talking seconds.
Okay, color me impressed, pun very much intended.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking about educators who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by all of this. Do these resources offer any guidance on how to actually integrate AI into the classroom?
They do. Adobe points to their Education Exchange as a fantastic resource for educators who are navigating this new world of AI. There's a whole collection of materials specifically focused on teaching with generative AI, which seems incredibly valuable.
I bet. Because knowing how to use the software is only half the battle, right? Teachers need resources on how to actually teach effectively with it.
Precisely. And they even feature insights from Alex Cotran. He's the CEO of the AI Education Project. They offer all sorts of AI-focused lesson plans, which could be a real lifeline for teachers who are just starting to explore these tools. It's like having a whole curriculum tailored specifically for AI, which is amazing. But these sources also highlight a really interesting real-world example from Imperial College London. Have you had a chance to look at that?
I have. Yeah, the fact that they're using Adobe tools in their design engineering program is fascinating. We're talking about students grappling with these really complex technical concepts and using these tools to communicate those ideas visually, which is no easy task.
Right. And it's not just theoretical exercises either. They're tackling real-world problems.
Exactly. The example focuses on a student team that was working on a sustainable solution for the events industry. And it really showcases how design skills powered by the right technology can be applied to create tangible, real-world solutions.
That's what I love about this whole conversation, seeing how creativity and problem solving can be taken to that next level. But we've been focusing a lot on the visual applications of AI. What about other forms of creativity? I'm thinking music writing, maybe even scientific research.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
These sources focus heavily on visual communication, but AI's potential stretches far beyond that. Imagine students composing original musical scores with AI assistants, or researchers using AI to analyze huge data sets to uncover hidden patterns. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
It's mind-blowing, really. It feels like we're at this pivotal moment where technology is fundamentally changing how we learn and create across all these different fields.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, if this is what AI can already do with visual creativity, what about these other areas? How might AI redefine what's possible in those realms?
Okay, so we're stepping into some seriously exciting territory here, but I have to admit I'm also feeling a little overwhelmed. how can I even begin to wrap my head around all of this?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to process. One way to approach it is to focus on the core concept of generative AI. Essentially, it's about AI that can create new content images, text, music, even code based on the data it's been trained on.
So instead of just analyzing existing information, it can actually generate something entirely new.
Precisely. Think of it like having an AI partner in the creative process. You can give it prompts, ideas, or even just rough sketches, and it can help you flesh those out into fully realized creations.
That makes a lot more sense. So with Firefly specifically, you mentioned it's integrated into other Adobe products. Can you give me an example of what that looks like in action? I'm particularly curious about Adobe Express.
Absolutely. So let's say you're working on a design project in Express, maybe a poster for a school event. With Firefly integrated directly into the platform, you can use text prompts to generate unique images or even entire design templates.
Wait, so instead of spending hours searching for the perfect stock photo or starting from scratch, I could just tell Firefly what I want and it would create it for me.
Exactly. It's like having an AI design assistant working alongside you. And it's not just about generating new visuals from scratch. Firefly also has this incredible feature called Generative Fill. It lets you make changes to existing images in ways that used to be incredibly time-consuming.
Oh, okay. You've definitely got my attention. Give me an example.
Okay, so imagine you have a photo that's almost perfect, but there's this one distracting element in the background. With Generative Fill, you simply brush over that element and tell Firefly to remove it. It analyzes the surrounding pixels and fills in the gaps seamlessly. You'd never even know the unwanted element was ever there.
That's incredible. What else can it do?
It works the other way around, too.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to add something to an image like a flock of birds to the sky or even a completely new background. Generative Fill can do that as well, making it an incredibly powerful tool for photo editing and manipulation.
This is blowing my mind. It seems like a complete game changer for designers, especially those who might not have advanced technical skills.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It really is about democratizing design, making these tools and capabilities accessible to a much wider range of people.
And I imagine that has huge implications for education as well. Giving students access to these tools could really level the playing field.
Absolutely. It's about empowering students from all backgrounds to bring their creative visions to life, regardless of their prior experience or technical expertise.
It's like we're moving from a world where only a select few had access to these tools to one where anyone can be a creator.
Exactly. It's a really exciting shift.
It is, but
Yeah.
let's not forget about the practical side of things too, because these sources also talk about how Adobe is prioritizing accessibility with Firefly, which I think is incredibly important.
Oh, absolutely. They highlight how Firefly can be used to create more inclusive design experiences. For instance, it can automatically generate alternative text descriptions for images, which is crucial for people with visual impairments.
That's amazing. I hadn't even considered that application, but it makes perfect sense. It's like AI is helping us design with a wider range of human needs in mind.
Precisely. And it's not just about alternative text either. Firefly can help designers create content that's more accessible to people with different learning styles or cognitive abilities as well.
So we're talking about making design more inclusive from the ground up, which is fantastic. But I'm also curious about how these AI tools might actually change the way that students learn and create in the classroom.
That's a great question. I think it has the potential to be a really fundamental shift. Instead of focusing so much on rote memorization or just technical skills, students can spend more time on higher order thinking, problem solving, and really tapping into their creativity.
It's like AI is freeing up our mental bandwidth to focus on the things that make us uniquely human.
Exactly. And I think we'll see a surge in interdisciplinary learning as students start combining different skills and knowledge to create truly innovative solutions.
It's like the lines between different fields are blurring and new possibilities are emerging everywhere we look. This is incredibly exciting, but I'd be remiss if we didn't at least touch on some of the potential challenges or concerns surrounding AI, especially in education.
Of course. It's crucial to approach these technologies thoughtfully and consider their potential impact from all angles. One concern that often comes up is the potential for AI to widen the digital divide if access isn't equitable.
That's a really important point. We need to make sure that all students, regardless of their background or socioeconomic status, have the opportunity to benefit from these advancements.
Absolutely. Bridging that digital divide is essential to ensuring that AI empowers all learners, not just a select few.
Well said. It seems like we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've explored the exciting potential of AI in education and design, delved into the capabilities of Adobe Firefly, and even grappled with some of the bigger questions surrounding AI's impact on accessibility, creativity, and the future of learning.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible.
That's the beauty of it, right? AI is still in its early stages, and the future is full of possibilities. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with something to ponder.
I'm all ears.
We've talked a lot about how AI can help us create and innovate, but what about the role of human ingenuity in an AI-powered world? How do we cultivate those uniquely human skills, like critical thinking, empathy, and ethical judgment in a world that's increasingly shaped by technology?
That's a profound question. And I think the answer lies in recognizing that AI is a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how we choose to use it.
So it's not about feeling AI or trying to resist its influence. It's about embracing the possibilities while staying grounded in our values and our humanity.
Exactly. It's about finding that synergy between human ingenuity and technological advancement to create a future that benefits everyone.
I love that. It's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together to create something truly extraordinary. To our listeners, we encourage you to approach AI with a sense of curiosity and critical thinking. Explore these tools, experiment with them, and see how they can enhance your own creativity and problem-solving abilities. The future is full of possibilities, and the key is to approach it with both excitement and a thoughtful awareness of the impact these technologies have on our lives. That's it for our deep dive today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking the big questions.